Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, good night for those of you that are staying up late for this class. How's everybody doing? I'm Joshua. I'll be your teacher today for Smart Live, English for academic purposes. And we are starting out strong today. We got lots of people in the chat. I've said hi to most people as I was setting up the class and all that good stuff. But hi to anyone who showed up after that. We have a lot of familiar faces here. It's good to see everybody. We're going to go over some fun stuff today, kind of recapping what our last lesson was and talking about premium subscribers and what they get, and then we'll kick off our lesson for today, which is going to be a one-off. It's going to be fun. We're going to talk about English idioms in the context of an academic environment. So I think you guys are going to like this a lot. So hello everybody. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for showing up. You guys are great. I'm just bringing up some settings here to see how many people are in the chat right now. Nice. We got quite a few people here. Oh, excuse me. That's an alarm I had on my phone. Better turn that off. Let's see. So we have lots of premium subscribers who sign up and they get homework corrected. And one of them, Aaron, said it was okay to just show a little bit of his assignment. So I'm going to do that first, and then we're going to jump into the new lesson. But while I have everybody here, let me go ahead and take attendance. Let me bring up the lesson for you so you can kind of see what I'm doing. This is the Smart Cafe. All our students have access to this stream of cool videos and information that we post regularly. There's always something interesting there. It's always something you're going to learn from, so it's great. So if you are a premium subscriber, check this out. Check it often. Watch the videos. It's great listening practice. Our videos are linked in here as well. And if you're not a premium subscriber, just go to smartenglish.com/live/live and you can check out our classes. I'll put that in the chat. You can also ask Zach to join. Zach at smartenglish.com. I'll put his email in there. And if you need to talk to me, joshua.live at smartenglish.com. All of that information is here as well. You can see in right behind me all of this information. So you get a free month if you sign up for classes. Abby's an amazing teacher. Her class is on Tuesdays. Sean is awesome. His class is on Fridays. Neil is used to be Mondays. It's moved to Wednesdays, so we will need to just update that. And then my class here, Thursdays. So we love teaching you guys. Check out our classes. It's free to watch. But if you're like, hey, what's a premium subscriber? What do they get? I will show you in just a second. I'm going to take attendance here for the students that are showed up and in class. And then we are going to go over one of their homework assignments really quick so I can give some feedback. And then we're going to start our lesson. So I am wearing a hat, JB. That's what I'm doing. Woo! Just thought I'd mix it up a little bit today. Very fashionable hat we wear here in the United States, trying to be cool, like all the cool people. Good to see everybody is so engaged. What do I call this kind of hat on my head is what French Leo asks. I think it's called a bowler cap. I could be wrong. Newsy cap or newsboy cap. Let's take a look. Let's use some Google image here and see. Yeah, oh no, that's a bowler cap. Okay, so more like a Charlie Chaplin type. This is, driving cap. Driving cap, maybe. Yeah, I guess we'd call it a driving cap. It's popular in the golf world. It's popular in a lot of fashion currently. You'll see a lot of men in America wearing beards. Like there's Brad Pitt, same thing. Me and that guy, same fashion. So it's a pretty fashionable one. I think I've also heard it called a newsboy cap. Yeah, so bowler cap, newsboy cap. I guess the newsboy cap has the little button on the top. I am no fashionista, but I think we'll call it a driving cap. I think that's probably the best description of it. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, though. We're going to talk about common English sentences, idioms. Idioms are collocations. They are collections of words that are commonly used together to have an alternative meaning to the words themselves. So we'll talk about that definition and explain it a little bit more if you have questions. Otherwise, we're going to go into a bunch of examples. All right, Luciana, hello. You missed me. Thank you. Yeah, sorry, I was traveling for a couple weeks and I missed a couple classes, but the wonderful Abby filled in. She's great, and I hope you guys enjoyed learning from her. She's taught this course live to students in the classroom as well. We teach these courses in person. If you ever wanted to come and study, you can check out our website and even apply and come study with me in person. That would be so cool. I'd love to high five you or just, see you every day and get to talk and hang out. Our teachers are awesome. They hang out with our students. We have lunches together. We do activities. We go to the museum, the mall. We'll go to plays or concerts. It's really cool. It's like a big family here. So check out the website if you guys want to study in the United States. That'd be really cool. This is the college. So that being said, let's go over the homework from last time. So the subject, this is Aaron's homework, and Aaron has given me permission to share it with you all, which is awesome. So this is the assignment attached to our last lesson. Our last lesson was a listening on deforestation, the topic of environment deforestation. And this is what we studied. 8-4A. So if you're a premium subscriber, you have access to all of these lessons. This is our library. It's huge. And each of these courses has 12 weeks worth of study material. So this one was deforestation, and it was the listening lesson. So we went over different areas that are affected by deforestation. I know this was 2 weeks ago, so some of you may have a hard time remembering. But we essentially went over the problem. What is the problem? What is causing deforestation? And then proposed solutions, or what a country or government is already doing to stop that. And then we talked a little bit about, or discussed through email, what we can do on an individual basis to sort of stop this. Whether that's communicating with our governments and saying, hey, we really want this to stop, we want to preserve our forests, or by trying to go out and plant a tree. I mean, you can plant one tree, and that's one more tree that's out there. So that's good. Okay. I'm just catching up on the comments here, making sure I answer questions that you guys have. Dream come true, to study in person in US or Canada. Luciana, we hope so. I hope to see you here. Since November last year. Yeah, many of you have been studying with us and you're not a premium subscriber. That's okay too. If you can't afford to be, or if you want to, just watch the lessons and kind of interact with us, we welcome that. That's great. You just get detailed comments and feedback. If you want to know a little bit what it's like to be a premium subscriber, I know Sarbajit has a good knowledge. He's been a premium subscriber for a while of what we offer and how we interact and talk. So you could always ask him if you have questions. So back to the homework though. Aaron wasn't able to finish, but emailed me and said, hey, here's all I could do. Thank you, Aaron. Any amount of homework is great. If you want to finish the rest of the lesson later, that's great too. So in our group, we were to take notes and focus on these topics. What are some of the main reasons for deforestation in the country, and who's responsible? And I didn't comment on the first one here yet because I wanted to do it live with everybody to kind of see. So the answer to this prompt that Aaron has, what are some of the main reasons for deforestation in that country? Who's responsible? Many forests don't make money to capitalists compared to resort or buildings, in case agriculture is not the most important in Korean industry, yet we have the responsible to deforestation. So this is a great concept. There's a lot of good information here, and I can understand what is meant what I'm going to do here for Aaron is copy this sentence, and we're going to just make a few tweaks, change the grammar a little bit, make some corrections and capitalizations, things like that. So we don't need to capitalize forests because it's not a proper noun. It's not a name. It's just a general thing. So we don't capitalize general things. Many, and with of, we use of with the determiner the. If we do not have the, we don't need of. So we have two options here. We can change it to many of the forests, or simply delete both words and say many forests. If we're being specific, if we're talking about in the country of Korea, we could say many of the forests in Korea. But I think this is true of all forests all over the world. So I'm just going to say many forests don't make money. And we would say, we want the verb here. We have to. So we're going to say to capitalize. Capitalize on. And we can use that phrasal verb intransitively. Many forests don't make money to capitalize on. Compared to, and I'm just going to add a verb here, building resorts, or, oh, we use the word building. That's probably why Aaron did not use that. So let's say to constructing resorts or buildings. And then we elaborate and we go more specific into Korea. So I'm going to use a semicolon because this is a related sentence. In the case of agriculture, or we could just delete in the case of. There's a few different ways we could write this sentence, and I can give Aaron more feedback. I would do this normally in a video, and I would make all these comments to Aaron as I'm correcting it with a screen capture so that Aaron could get this feedback and then ask me questions about it later too. So in the case of agriculture in Korea, since it is not the most important industry, in the case of agriculture. So I think what we're doing here is we're talking about three different ways that forests are eliminated for other capitalizing endeavors. So capitalize on compared to constructing resorts or buildings or agriculture. Then a semicolon. In Korea, agriculture is not, we don't really want since there because we don't follow it up with anything. So we want in Korea, agriculture is not the most important industry. Yet we have to be responsible for deforestation. So this is a great introductory sentence, a series of clauses. I could easily see this being the start of an essay on deforestation, and the next sentence would probably talk about what is being capitalized in Korea, and I imagine that that is constructing resorts or buildings, constructing businesses. Those kind of things probably eliminate forests in Korea. So I've made changes to the original sentence. I keep the original sentence, and then I just make a comment for Aaron here and say, see this compared, see my edits, compared to your original sentence above. And then Aaron can look at these two sentences, see the changes I made, and then ask me questions about it right in here or through email, or we'll do a hangout and talk about it. Other comments here, I just made comments on a couple spelling situations. I really liked your advantages and disadvantages. Since these are notes, we don't really worry about grammar or any of that. If you do want practice with your grammar, I can make edits for you, but this is great. You did a great job, so thank you for submitting your homework. And I appreciate you watching the lesson and submitting that for us. So good job. I'm going to create now a document for our notes for today's class, and I'm going to keep a log of the idioms that we talk about. So if you're watching this later and you don't get to be a part of the chat, you can still participate by viewing this document and learning these idioms that we talk about. So today is the 20th of April, 2017, and these are our class notes. Our topic is idioms. Academic idioms. Now, not all of the idioms we're going to talk about today are appropriate in academics, but that's the point of this class, is we're going to talk about idioms in general, and then idioms that you may be able to use in class in an academic essay, and then idioms that are a little too casual and that you might only use in conversation with your friends. So talking about what is and isn't appropriate for writing or speech in academics also translates to the business environment, business world too. So as I was typing all that, I want to make sure I catch up on our chat and see if I missed any good questions. So we're talking about the rainforest. Kishore, hello, how are you? I didn't get a chance to say hi. Steve's here as well. Hi, Steve. And Kishore did a couple years doing research on deforestation in the Congo rainforest. Awesome, very cool. I'd love to hear more about that. Not in the chat, but send me an email. Rosa, don't worry about the homework. You can turn it in later, and I'm happy to correct it then. Thank you. You say I have a perfect voice. That's not true, but I really appreciate it. I do have a neutral accent. So in the Pacific Northwest in the United States, we have medium accent. It's for Americans, so it's a very good one to try to copy. So for pronunciation, please feel free to copy my pronunciation and try to sound similar. It will help you. Okay. Let's see, following the chat. Okay. Looks like everybody's pretty much just having little side conversations. Question by Polixio. Do you have to pay if you want to go to the forest and spend time there, to have a barbecue, etc.? In the United States, there are many places that are free. You just go for free. If you drive a car, you have to pay for parking usually, but that's all. Otherwise, you get to go enjoy the lands, enjoy the natural forests for free. The money to support them comes from taxes. All right. Some forests, and Mabel is answering that. Mabel, what country are you from? It looks like it's free in Mabel's country to go use the forests as well. Okay. Okay. Idioms are part of the culture, but are they important to be learned by English learners? Yes. People learn English for different reasons, but Rosa, that is a great question. I'm just going to copy that into here and say questions. And I'll make this font a little bit bigger so that we can all see. Not quite that big. There we go. We'll make it that big. That way, hopefully you can see. So idioms are a part of the culture, but are they important to be learned by English learners? Yes would be my answer. And I'll tell you why. So here's your question. Here's my answer. Yes, I believe so. Even in business, idioms are used in all English environments. They are used in business, academics, travel, and especially in conversations with native speakers. The goal of learning any language is to gain the accuracy and fluency of a native speaker. Now, of course, this is a really hard thing to do, to learn a language and gain the proficiency of a native speaker, but that's the goal. That's my goal for you as students. That's my goal for every student that attends my college, is to help them achieve the goal of a native speaker. And I'll sort of use this as an opportunity to talk about when I have taught in other parts of the world. I've taught using other curricula. When I open a book, like an old Learn English book, I'll find words in there and phrases that are so old and out of date that they're not used. We do not use them. I've never said them in my whole life, and I will never say them because I don't need them. They're antiquated language, old language. Everything in Smart is contemporary, modern, useful language. So of a language, there's a lot of things that you will never use. We don't worry about teaching any of that. You can learn that if you want later, but there's a core. And the core of that language is everything you will need to be able to function for your purposes. Maybe you want to travel. Maybe you want to go to university. Maybe you want to get a good job or succeed at a company. The language that we teach is the language you will need, which includes idioms. So I would say yes, it is important for learners to learn idioms because they will be valuable in any part of learning English and using English. So I'm going to copy some of the links we have here for you. This is my email and Zach's email, and then the Smart English Live at the top of our notes so that you have it for later. So that's smartenglish.com/live/live, and then my email and Zach's email as well. Okay, so those are there for you if you need them. And also my school's usa-english.com website there. So good question, Rosa, but yes, I feel it's very important. You guys have so many great questions here. Oh, hello from Ukraine. Hi, good to have you. Turkey, we have students from Turkey here. Emery, hi, good to have you. Another student from Turkey, LCS. Okay, Mabel's from Taiwan. Excellent. Very good. We've had Turkish students and Taiwanese students here. That's awesome. Can we use idioms in writing? Yes. Nora asks, can we use idioms in writing? Yes, you can. That's a good question. Can we use idioms in writing? Yes. It is good to know the idiom very well and know what contexts it is used in before you include it in academics or business writing, academic or business writing. But it is common. Idioms are common in academic writing, in all writing. When I say common, it's not every sentence will have an idiom. But I would be very surprised to read an entire essay and not find one idiom. Generally, they're used in context of comparisons or metaphors or exemplars. It's a common way to convey meaning, so they are common in writing. So yes, you can use them, but it's a little different than slang. Not all slang are idioms, and not all idioms are slang, but there is overlap there. So slang is just casual, and I would not use that in academic writing, but an idiom could be used in academic writing, yes. Okay. going to bring up a lesson here. We're going to look at some vocabulary about deforestation and then talk about idioms that might be used as well. Okay, that's a great answer. Thanks, you're welcome. You might be thinking one of the students too. There's lots of great topics and conversation happening here in the chat. You set the bar too high. Good, Aaron's giving us an example of some idioms. And I like that one. Set the bar high. We'll talk about that one in just a minute, but I want to write it down so we do not forget. Accuracy means precision. Yes, Leo, that's correct. In my village, people go farming. Vivek, I'm not sure what you're talking about, but okay. Sarabjit, you didn't miss a lot. You were disconnected. I'm sorry to hear that. You can watch the rest later and catch up, no problem. But we're just talking about idioms and the usage in academics or business writing. If there is no idiom, how will you speak English? So not all English is comprised of idioms. That sentence I just said has no idioms. If I say English is an important language to learn to travel the world, that sentence that I said has no idioms. We'll talk more about what an idiom actually is, and I think then you'll have a better grasp and understanding. Let's see. Would you mind asking why they go? In daily natural life, what percentage of idioms do we use? So I think Sarvajit is asking, in normal life, how often do we use idioms? It would be really hard for me to give you an actual percentage. I would say I use idioms every day, if that helps. I cannot think of a single... I'll try to keep it on the forefront of my mind, and when I naturally use idioms in my speech today or with other, other colleagues, talking with students, I'll try to make a note of it and let you know how many times I use it in a day. But I use idioms every single day in my communication. Okay. So let's try to keep the chat in English. That would be good. I'm going to go ahead and remove stuff if it is not in English. This is a place to practice English, so please do that. I appreciate languages, and I love learning languages when I'm practicing with students, but we need to keep the chat in English because we're learning English. Soren, hello Soren, good to have you here. Let's see. Why can't I create idioms? We can try to create idioms. Idiom is a countable noun while slang is singular. Any reason for this? Just the nature of the word, Steve, that's a good question. We can say, I know many English idioms. I know much English slang. We wouldn't use much in the affirmative very often. I know a lot of English slang. That's a common mistake that students make, and I'm glad you pointed it out. Do not say slangs. The word slang itself is uncount. So we'd say slang words. Slang is more commonly collocated with words, slang words. But we use the word slang to describe that type of language. So think of it more as an adjective. Slang's an adjective. It can be a noun, but it's more commonly used as an adjective. So that should help you remember. Don't make it plural. Idiom, though, is a singular noun that can be pluralized. Idioms. Great question. Okay, let's see. English well. Why do idioms help us in communication? A non-native speaker may not know that idiom and there can be miscommunication. Yes, that's true, Sarvajit. So that all the more reason to learn all the English idioms you can, because the more you know, the more you will be able to understand speakers. This is a great area of English where Netflix or Hulu, HBO Go, online videos, YouTube is great to pick up on slang and idioms. They're most commonly used in casual conversation, but they're very good to understand so that there is not miscommunication. Okay, so again, please try to keep the chat in English. It looks like we have Gamer is here. Hi, Gamer. What's up? Hi from the Philippines, Michael. Good to have you. Can we tell expression in an idiom or slang? How can we tell an expression is idioms or slang? If the sentence seems really confusing, and I'll give you a context of this idiom here, set the bar high. So let me think of a situation here. Let's imagine, well, bar. What is a bar? A bar in this context is, a bar is, this is a bar, okay? In the context of this is what we're talking about. So when we look at this image, you see this here, this is a bar, okay? Set the bar high. So in my English class, a very smart student set the bar high with her excellent question. Okay, let's look at this sentence. In my English class, a very smart student, so here's my subject, set the bar high. Set the bar high is an idiom there. With her excellent question. So a student asked a question. That's the core meaning of that sentence. A student asked the question. There's a question, an English class, and a student. We have a place, an actor, and then an action, an excellent question, something that was asked. So you might say, well, why is there a bar in this English class? There's not. There's not. This is a figure of speech. This is an idiom. Set the bar high. So you can see from the high jump here, if the student is setting the bar high, they are creating an atmosphere, an environment where it will be difficult. That is what the idiom means. We can recognize it as an idiom, recognize this part as an idiom, because it doesn't seem to fit with the rest of the sentence at its basic meaning. There's no bar, there's no real bar in this classroom, in this English class. But there's a figurative bar. There is an imaginary bar that the student has set high, meaning that the rest of the class will be difficult because they have asked an excellent question. So we're going to be talking about advanced English. So Steve, to answer your question, how can we tell, which it's a great question, Steve, thank you for asking. Steve's question was, how can we tell an expression is an idiom or slang? And my answer would be when the phrase, word, or phrase doesn't seem to make immediate sense in the context. And I'm typing a little too quickly here, so I'm misspelling words, but doesn't make immediate sense in the context. So when the word or phrase doesn't seem to make immediate sense in the context, there is a good chance that it is slang or an idiom, idiomatic. Okay. A slang word or idiomatic phrase. Okay? So, set the bar high means to create a challenging atmosphere, or expectation. Okay, that's how I would define set the bar high. To create a challenging atmosphere or expectation. Let's see. Vivek Deary says, don't forget how fast you learn. You improve so quickly. That's true. Don't forget how fast you learn. Other people see how fast you learn. It's hard to see it for yourself, so that's good. Why idioms help us in communication? Non-native speaker may not know that idiom, and there can be miscommunication. We talked about that earlier. Idioms are the same in British and American English? No. There are very different idioms in British and American English. Many are the same, but the American ones are correct and right, and American English is best. I'm kidding, of course, but different types of English have different idioms. British idioms, sometimes Americans are like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And the same is true the other way around. British people will not know what we're talking about. Okay, I'm trying to catch up on all these excellent questions. Thank you guys for the wonderful chat. You guys are doing excellent. Word or phrase does not seem to make immediate sense in the context. Great explanation. You're welcome, Steve. Happy to help. Can you tell us the difference between until and by the time? Emery, yes, that's a great question. It's one that I don't want to get into in this topic because it's a little bit off topic. I think, let me see whose class would probably be best for that. I think Sean's class or maybe Neil's class would be better for that question. But I can get to it a little bit later if we have time. Or we'll pick it up in a class where it pertains to the subject. Josh shows them who's boss. Shows them who's boss is a good idiom. I want to kill two birds with one stone, another good idiom. Let's talk about some of these here. I'm going to take Vvex. To kill two birds with one stone. So we'll do this. We will define the idiom, and then we will give an example. So there's an example of the idiom in use. So our second one is to kill two birds with one stone. Do you have an example sentence? If you have an example sentence, that would be great. Vivek says, I want to kill two birds with one stone. We could use that, I suppose. I want to kill two birds with one stone. Now, is this really about murdering two birds, killing two birds? Let's give the context of traveling. Maybe we'll add a sentence before for context. Let's stop by the mall when we go out to get our groceries. I want to kill two birds with one stone. I separated that by a semicolon, two independent clauses that are related. So let's stop by the mall when we go out to get our groceries. I want to kill two birds with one stone. This is a casual example where someone is traveling and they want to do two things with one action. To do two things with one action. So we're not actually killing any birds. If you saw this sentence and you're a new English learner, you might think this person's a little bit crazy. Why are they going shopping at the mall and buying groceries but also killing two birds? Is that where they get their food? No, they're just saying one trip, traveling in a car or bus or motorcycle or whatever one time, but making two stops so that you only have to make one trip from your home and back. That is to kill two birds with one stone. You're doing one action, leaving your house, but you're achieving two things. You are stopping by the mall and also getting groceries. So two stops with one trip out of your house to kill two birds with one stone. And it does say two birds, two things at one time. Some people will use this when they're talking about doing multiple things with one action. So hopefully that helps. Any tricks to remembering idioms? I would love to say yes, that there are tricks that make it super easy. The cleverest trick that I can think of is to use them when you learn them. Use them frequently. Go out today and make sure you say at one point, set the bar high. Go out today and say, kill two birds with one stone. And this will give you a lot of opportunities. One, it gives you an opportunity to practice using the words, speak them, to offer them up. It also gives you the opportunity, if somebody else you're speaking them to doesn't know the idiom, they're going to look at you and say, "What? I don't know what you're talking about." And you get an opportunity to teach, to make that a learning moment and teach someone. And teaching is one of the best ways of learning. I know that seems a little backwards, but it is so true, I promise you. Teaching is a great way to learn. So when you go out and you use these and you tell your friend, "Hey, I want to go get coffee, but let's also do this other thing. Let's kill two birds with one stone," and your friend says, "What? What is that? I don't know what that means," and you get a chance to teach them, that is going to cement that in your mind all the more. Okay? So try to do that with every idiom you learn. Every time you learn a new idiom, write it down. And if you learn a lot in one day, make a list and then just try to use them throughout the week or throughout the month and use them. That's the best trick I can think of, Sarbajit. Everybody should do that. Please do that. Okay, we're looking at some other idioms. I'm just drawing a blank. That's a good one. I'm just drawing a blank. Can you please explain what it means? Yes, I am happy to. So I'm just drawing a blank. I'm going to say, that'll be our example sentence. To draw a blank. Okay, so to draw a blank is to not remember something. To not remember something when you need the information. And let's pretend we're in a class and someone just walks in the door. We could say to our friend, "Oh, do you remember that student's name?" I'm just drawing a blank. This means I do not remember the student's name. Drawing a blank is our idiom there. To draw a blank is to not remember something when you need the information. I'm drawing a blank. What is that person's name? This is something super common in English. We say this all the time. Now to draw something, you can draw something out. I picture, when I think of this idiom, names from a hat. Drawing names from a hat, right? We do this to choose for like games or voting, things like that. So we draw names from a hat or from a bowl, and I think of this because we often use this idiom when we are trying to recall someone's name or something's name, like a song name or movie title name or a book name. We'll say, "Oh, I'm drawing a blank." It means I don't remember. This is the image that I picture. I'm drawing a blank. I pull out a piece of paper, I open it up, and there's nothing on there. It is blank. Draw is an action like that, to take out. Blank means an empty sheet of paper. It could be lots of things, but blank page is a collocation in English, blank page, and we're talking about paper. A blank document, this would be a blank page right here. This page has words on it. This page is blank. There's nothing, blank. Blank means something that, emptiness. It's an emptiness. So hopefully that is a good explanation. I don't know the history of drawing a blank. There is a great website called Online Etymology Dictionary. I think is what it's called. Oops. Etymology Dictionary. Yeah. Etymology Dictionary Online. And this has a lot of great words and phrases that etymology is the study of the history of word formation. Draw a blank. We could see if there's a little bit of information. There's point blank, there's draw, and then there's blank. I don't see drawing a blank, though. Oh, here we go. To draw a blank comes up with nothing. Sense of making a line or figure. This says, to draw a blank, come up with nothing. 1825 is an image from lotteries. So this image that I showed you is like an image from a lottery, somebody that will win a prize. The word has been substituted for word. So it looks like there's an example of draw a blank, meaning losing a lottery ticket is behind the expression draw a blank. So that is from the 1560s. Wow, that is an old phrase in English. So there's a little bit of information here. This is a great website. I encourage you to check it out. I find it very interesting. I will copy it into the chat and then also put it on our class notes up here at the top so that you guys can look at it later if you want. Okay. Of course, there we go. All right. So we have other good examples here. Let's talk about some more idioms. Quantum mechanics, you can kill two birds with one stone. Ah, French Leo, very clever. I like that. Schrodinger's cat, if you know about Schrodinger's cat, look at that. That's to have two cats with one box. Can you please explain what means I'm just drawing a blank? Okay. Oh, Sarbjeet says, I was talking about people thinking I'm crazy if I use idioms with those who don't know it. That's a risk we take, yes. It's possible that people will not understand you, but that gives you that opportunity to explain. People think I'm crazy all the time, and I say, no, I'm just an English teacher. Spill the beans. Spill the beans is a good one. So let's make our fourth one, to spill the beans. This means to tell a secret or information that was not supposed to be shared. Okay, spill the beans. And I better put this up above. Okay. To spill the beans is to share a secret. Here's an example sentence. We had a surprise party planned, but his sister spilled the beans. Now there is no, or our surprise is ruined. Our surprise is ruined. And we could look up here, spill the beans. Let's see what that is. Spill the beans, recorded by 1910 in a sense of spoil the situation, a secret reveal, the cry for spilt milk. That's usually another one too. Let's not cry for spilt milk. So there's a little bit of information there, but that's an old idiom as well. Let's see. There's a will, there's a way. When there's a will, there's a way. That's less idiomatic and more of a parable, or more of a historical sort of advice, a phrase of advice. Where there's a will, where there's motivation, there is a way, a path. I would say that language is a little more creative than idiomatic. I'm sure there are people that would call that an idiom. I usually think of idioms as not making sense in the context for the words that they are. Now, there's a will, there's a way does make sense in the context that you would use it in. So that's a little less idiomatic. The top cherry of this beautiful cake, Vivek, we don't really say that. We would say that is the cherry on top. So something, I can put that down as one. We would say something is the cherry on top, or something is the cherry on the cake. We might say that. This means the best part of something, or an extra, or an additional good thing. So that's another idiom that we can use. The only idiom I love and use is I speak my mind. I speak my mind. That is a good idiom, Rosa. I like that one. I speak my mind. Oops. What are we on, number 6, I think? I speak my mind. I say what I am thinking. Or I speak frankly. I speak my mind, I speak frankly. Okay. To say frankly what you think. Oh, yeah, you have a perfect definition there. We had the same definition. That's a good sign, Rosa. Excellent. I see eye to eye. That is another good one. Start from scratch. Another good one. Tighten your belt. Don't do things at the 11th hour. Let somebody under your skin. To keep your head above water. Draw a blank today. In French, we say have a blank, similar. I feel like I am in a blue moon. We say once in a blue moon. Once in a blue moon means happens seldom. Not often. That's what we say when we say once in a blue moon. Drawing isn't making a picture. It can be. That word can be used to mean make a picture, but then that's not an idiom. That's just a definition, a denotative meaning. Shoot oneself in the foot. Yes, that's another good one. Cut your cloth according to your cloth. I'm less familiar with that, but that sounds vaguely familiar. I think we have something similar. Bite your hands. We say bite your tongue, usually, Zed. Means to not say something. Bite your tongue. To stop speaking about something you should not speak about. Let's see. Plenty of fish in the sea. Aaron, you spelled sea like sea. You want S-E-A, like ocean. Sea. Change one's mind is to change your decision. This too shall pass. Also more of a parable or advice than an idiom. I'm on cloud 9. That's one that's good. I tell lie, Soren. I'm not sure what you mean by that one. Floyd, that one is rude. I'll leave it in the chat just so you guys can know, but that has a bad word in it that we don't normally say. I'm going to lose my blank. We don't say that word, though, in English, which leads me to my last point of this class. Steve, we talked about the difference between slang and idioms earlier in the class. Just watch the video once it's done, and you can be able to distinguish them a little bit better, I think. Break the ice means breaking the silence. No, yes, it does mean breaking the silence, Sarbajit, but it usually means to introduce yourself, to break the ice, to move past an awkward introduction, like a first meeting, to a comfortable conversation. Break the ice. Conversation starters. Things like that. Standing on my fingernail. We don't really say that. Zed, we'd say I'm on the edge of my seat, meaning I'm anticipating something, or I'm on the tip of my toes is more common. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about which of these idioms we might use in an academic environment. So here's an academic reading. I thought we'd just look and see if we can find something that's idiomatic. So I'm just going to go through really quickly and see if I can catch any. I don't know. I didn't prepare this ahead of time. I just picked a random academic article from Smrt. Question the idea. It's talking about Earth and Mars. So there's nothing yet that I catch. If you guys see something before me, please note that. Water anywhere on Earth, desolate, mineral conditions, inevitably life. Shifted their focus. Here we go. Shift their focus. So scientists shift their focus. You could also use an idiom here, change gears. It would not surprise me in an academic article to see something like, here's more examples. Scientists shifted their focus. So shift is a verb that we think of when we think of cars. Shifting gears. Okay. This is a manual transmission. It's a car where you would shift gears, and we change gears from first to second to third to fourth, reverse, whatever. So we're shifting gears, right? So scientists shifted their focus and research. We could also say, so scientists shifted gears in their search. So shifted their focus is probably, I would argue, it's more academic than shifted gears in their search. But you might see something like this in an academic essay from a student. Generally, slang and idioms. Slang definitely is more casual, so it's more common in speech. But we will see slang used in academic writing as well. When your teachers look at your writing, they look for clarity, they look for brevity, structure, organization, if you rephrased or paraphrased your quotes, and that there is an objective there, that there's not a personal opinion, but that you're conveying meaning. So those are topics that we look for. Here, this doesn't have any personal opinion. It is a descriptor. It's just used to describe the scientist's actions. So when we describe other people's actions in academic writing, we can use idioms. It's very common to. On the ball, that's another one. That's pretty casual. So as I read past these, we would say, break the silence. That could certainly be used in an academic paper, break the silence. You could say, as soon as scientists were confident that their research was valid, they broke the silence to the media and released the papers to the public at large. You could see a business writing or academic writing taking that stance. Things like fish out of water, it's pretty casual. Living under a rock, pretty casual. Of all of the idioms that are available, I would say the majority, more than 50%, are used exclusively on a casual basis, informal English, conversations with friends. But a lot of them can be used in academic writing. Idiomatic phrases. So be cautious with them in academics. Try not to use them too liberally, but it is possible to use. So I don't want to say to ever avoid them in academic writing, but just know in what context they're formally used. Are they more used in TV shows and movies and slang, hanging out with your friends, or are they used to show comparisons of things that are intangible or hard to describe, difficult to describe? If we are considering our audience, if our audience is a group of scientists and we are a scientist ourselves, so scientists writing for other scientists, there likely will not be idioms or slang used at all. Idioms are used to describe experiences that can be hard to describe. I think of drawing a blank. That idiom is used to say, I can't quite remember something when I need that something. It's easier to say, I'm drawing a blank. It's just a shorter, more concise phrase to describe the process of our trying to remember and think about something in our minds and not being able to articulate it correctly or to call it to the surface. Whenever we talk about our consciousness, our minds, we have to use creative language because it's a very difficult thing to describe. So shifting gears, breaking the ice, these sort of idiomatic phrases are good to know. They're more common in dialogue, in discussion, in spoken English, and they are generally more informal, but we will see them in academic writing as well. So I I hope this class was helpful. We are out of time. It's important to learn idioms because you'll be talking to native speakers and they will use idioms, and it will be helpful and connect you better to them if you use idioms as well. Again, I hope that this class was helpful for you. I hope that we learned something. I'll be sharing the class notes with our premium subscribers, and there's no homework for this week, so don't worry about that. If you have past homework, this will be your week where you're able to catch up and fill that out and send it to me and share it with me, and I will get feedback for you. Once again, if you want to become a premium subscriber, check out smartenglish.com/live/live. If you're really hungry for homework and you really want something to do, send me an email if you're a premium subscriber, and I will assign you some individualized homework this week. But as a bulk, as a whole, for the class, no homework. You can catch up on some of your work. And I welcome your questions as always, though. Reach out to me. You can also find me on Facebook if we're not friends already. There is no reason we shouldn't be. Here is my Facebook page. You can add me and I will accept. So thanks as always. You guys are wonderful. Come back next week. I will be here on Thursday with a brand new topic for you. You should be able to see that posted a few days before the class on our channel. If you don't already subscribe, I think everybody here is subscribed to our channel. But if you don't, for whatever reason, make sure you go ahead and do that. I'm going to post a link to our channel, or it's at the bottom of this video. But check us out, subscribe, add us on Facebook, all that good stuff. Come back next week, though, most importantly, for learning English. That is what we love. You guys are wonderful. Wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Thank you guys so much for being here. Here's a short message from Sean.
Hi everyone, thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to our channel. Also, if you want the full experience of being a student in a Smart Live class with things like homework and teacher feedback, follow the link and become a premium subscriber. Also, if you want to see more videos from this class, check out our playlist.